Hey guys, so I had somebody that I was in touch with on a regular basis on Facebook finally unfriend and block me and all that stuff. And it happened earlier today. And, I thought, well, maybe I should share it. But quite honestly, I had better things to do. I'm not going to miss that person. But I am going to share with you because a lot of you are going through this. And hopefully it helps. Hopefully it helps just to hear it from someone else and to understand that maybe you're not alone in the way you feel. So my stance is that I'm all for and in full support of those who want to protest, assemble, and go through the due process that you're given through your rights. But I don't agree with it turning to riots. I don't agree with it turning to destructive behavior or a threat to another person. And I don't care which side of the fence it's on. I don't support that. This person who blocked me said that they think that violence has a place. My feeling is violence is not the first place that you go. And if you're talking about this election, you're talking about, what, 4 days, 3 days? We should not be leaping to violence at this point, and avoid it at all cost. But we went back and forth, and I was questioned on what the answers are. Go through your legislation, become more aware with your politics, your local people, your congressmen. Go to the media, and I was told that those things were all controlled, which is true. But what other choice do you actually have? And if you aren't willing to exhaust every resource before resorting to the most base and destructive form of communication, then I can't say that you are really in it for the best interest of everyone. I was called naive. I was told I was delusional, which my retort basically was, then if you're going to blow the bugle for war, you better be the first one out in the street. And again, I'm not condoning this, but I'm saying you do not, and this person is educated. This person is educated in African American studies as a white man, I should point out. Not that it truly matters, but it kind of does. And in political activism, all sorts of studies like that. You do not pump up a bunch of people who are not as educated as you to go out into the streets and potentially meet their death. We've seen way too much of that lately, and it's an irresponsible act to rally people to do something that may cause their demise or incarceration. But that wasn't good enough. It's still I want this, and I hate Trump so much that this is how it has to be. So then I said, well, then be the first one out in the streets, and that didn't sit well. And I told him, if you're going to talk it, then you need to walk it, and that didn't sit well. And finally, he closed it out before he blocked me and said, this conversation is over. And I said, then you proved my point. You proved my point that people have discussions before they leap to violence. And that was the end of the conversation. But guys, I say all that to say, don't give up. Stand by your convictions and continue to talk to people who are willing to have the conversation. I would have had this discussion with this person until the cows came home. It was he who chose to back out of the conversation, and which I think is a bit hypocritical to point the finger at all of these politicians who can't seem to, find common ground. If we can't even find common ground on Facebook, you can't ask them with the weight of, world events on their shoulders, or how it changes the world, and to just get along that quickly. I'm not saying that that's the case, but don't be a hypocrite then. If you can't, actually disagree with somebody and then, not block them out of your lives and then repost things about them later when they can't read them, then you're not in a position to judge anybody, especially people who have millions of dollars, millions of lives on the line, okay? Billions of dollars, and the stake of a party, and all these other pressures. You're just sitting at home, and like the rest of us, are on a phone. So it's just my thought. But guys, keep it together. As this settles in, we will realize this is the reality that we're living in. I know there's a lot of people who do not want to accept this reality for what it is, but it is the reality that we live in. And now, if we're going to continue to push for change, push for solution, and push to better this nation, this world, and our people, which we all should do every day, then we have to keep talking. Blocking each other out is the most juvenile and immature way to communicate. It's paramount to sticking your fingers in your ears and yelling, la, 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 I can't hear you. If they did that in Washington, we'd all wonder, what happened. So, guys, keep communicating. And whether you agree or not, and sometimes you got to take that breath and walk away and do whatever's necessary. But when you block people out, then I'm not exactly sure what message it is that you're sending or what you're trying to accomplish. If you only want people to agree with you, find the ones that do agree with you and keep them as friends up front. But when you post things out there and you put it out for the world to see, people may retort. So it's just my 2 cents, guys. And I hope that my experience helps you, and please share yours with me. I would love to have these conversations on the thread. You can inbox me if you guys know me. You can call me. You can text me. All that good stuff. But let's just try and do the best with what we've got. Okay, we got to do our best every day in the situation that we're in. Peace, love, unity, solidarity.